Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. Today we're talking with Jim Robinson, and we are standing in West Harrison's former Wheeler's Classic Parts building. And Jim is going to give us some information about the building that we're in. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us.
You're very welcome.
All right, so tell us about this building.
Where do I start? I was told it was built in the around 1830.
Okay.
And they say it's one of the oldest buildings in West Harrison, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I purchased it from a guy named Keith Wheeler,
Mm-hmm.
who moved in here back in 1999 to store his classic parts.
Okay.
Previous to that, I was told that it was a furniture shop.
Wow.
And then after that, I believe Kaiser's bought the building. I'm not sure what they had done with it. So up till back to then, that's about as far as I know.
Okay. And it's a classic what part shop?
New old stock parts, new old replacement stock parts, you name it, all types of aftermarket parts, fenders, doors, you name it.
Okay. And how far back do the parts go? If I brought in a car that was how many years old, would I be able to find a part for it here?
Back to about 1910.
Up to?
About 1960.
Okay.
I've got some 1970s parts, but not too many.
Okay. And how many parts do you think are in this building?
Well, inventory, there's about 100,000. Non-inventory, there may be plus or minus 15, 20,000 parts. It's a lot.
Wow. Wow. And what types of parts?
Suspension parts, ball joints, tie rod ends, things like that. Had a lot of interior and exterior parts. Those have been sold. Bumpers, things like that, those are all gone. You name it, from ignition parts to engine parts to bearings, you name it, anything inside the car.
Okay. So, do you know anything about how the parts were bought and sold before you purchased the building?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob Carr was the first guy who started buying and selling the parts. He would travel around the country going to car shows, and he would set up his booth with his trailer, and he would sell the parts. He'd also buy parts.
Okay.
So he would go in with a huge trailer, buy a bunch of parts, and then sell them, and then bring them back to Cincinnati. He had a 12,000 square foot building that he had all these parts in.
Wow.
Well, he got sick,
Okay.
and a guy named Keith Wheeler bought the company out, moved the parts into this building. It went from a 12,000 square foot building to a 5,000 square foot
Oh my
building.
gosh.
So when you look around and see all the parts, it's packed in here.
And how many floors are in this building?
Okay, there's a basement.
Right.
We're on the first floor right now. There's a second floor and then a full attic.
Right, and all of those floors have parts,
Yes.
right? Wow.
Including the attic.
Wow, and the attic has...
Has some sheet metal, which is kind of hard to get in and out of.
Yeah.
It has some brake parts, brake cables. What else is up there? There's some window regulators that roll up and roll the windows up and down. Things like that.
Okay. And if you could tell us, what is your most requested part that people request?
Goodness. Everybody wants the sheet metal and the chrome because it's just so hard to get.
Yeah.
And sadly enough, I sold it all.
Really?
So that's
Okay.
probably the biggest thing, because you get old Cadillacs and things like that. They have it all full. I mean, the chrome's gone today. Everything's plastic. These cars are basically junk today compared to the old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a lot
Chrome behind the metal.
Yeah, there's no chrome.
Yeah.
So yeah, the chrome parts are pretty highly regarded, and interior parts are just really almost everything today.
Okay. And do you get a lot of requests for, I don't know, Ford Model T
Yeah.
parts and stuff like that?
Yeah, those are popular.
Okay.
And then you also have the guys. I sell a lot overseas online, so you get guys in Brazil and in Germany and France, and they buy a lot of the oddity stuff, the Studebaker stuff, the Kaiser stuff that is not very popular in the States, popular over there.
Do you know of any other shop or factory or anything like this that's in the greater Cincinnati, Indiana, Kentucky area?
Doing this?
Yeah.
Not really.
Wow,
It's
so this
kinda-
is
it's kinda-
definitely one of a kind.
Yeah. Very, very tough to get a hold of.
Okay. Wow, and a lot of people probably would not want to start this type of business.
It'd be hard
Now.
because
Yeah.
it's not a commodity where you run out of tape and you go out and buy you buy another truckload of tape. You can't, once the stuff's gone, it's gone. So the key is you sell at the maximum price you can get,
Right.
because once it's sold,
Smart business model.
it's over. Yeah,
Wow.
it's better than gold.
I bet it is.
'cause
I
they don't
bet
make it
is.
anymore.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a curse too.
Wow. Well, thanks so much for speaking to us today.
Very, very welcome.
Do you have anything else that you want to share before we close up?
No, I think I think you covered quite a bit.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. This large building was operated by the Cincinnati Seating Company to produce furniture for churches, schools, and opera houses. Some of the pews produced here are still being used in the local Presbyterian church. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. Today we talked to Mr. Jim Robinson at the former Wheeler's Classic Parts Building in West Harrison, Indiana. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, travel slowly and stop often. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.